Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast, and it's the trade deadline, so you know there's moves happening, but there are some huge moves. We're going to start off with the Seattle Seahawks getting wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, the speedster that played for the New Orleans Saints. This is a great addition to this receiving core that has been thriving. I mean, we always talk about Jackson Smith and Jigba. Young Torrey Horton has been having a good season. You all know Cooper Kupp and what he's done, although he's on the shelf right now. But this trade changes the way people are going to defend the Seattle Seahawks, or they're gonna deal with deep passes over their heads because you cannot one-on-one. This guy has next level speed. And the Saints used it really consistently over the last couple of years. I'm sure I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I'm sure he's amongst the league leaders in yards per catch and yards per route, et cetera, because most of his routes are coming down the field. He's a legitimate deep threat in this National Football League, and he gives Sam Darnold in this offense another weapon. Coming off one of their best games of the season, to get another weapon like this that stretches the defense, that makes those safeties take another step back, makes those corners play a little less ambitious. I don't think teams will play this team in man coverage as they have been. If they do, I would expect Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and their new receiver, Rashid Shaheed, to really have a field day. I think this is going to be a great trade for the Seattle Seahawks, and it's going to work for both sides. It's going to work for both sides. It gives him a fresh start on a team that's really competitive. Things aren't going great right now in New Orleans. It looks like they're going to be picking early in the draft. This is a young, fun team that's excited. Congrats to Mike McDonald and John Snyder for making this trade. This is one of the perfect trades of this trade deadline. There are bigger moves. There are, people trading first-round picks, et cetera. We're going to get to that. But in terms of a perfect fit scenario, this guy fits in with this culture, with what this team's trying to do offensively, and he has an obvious role that he fits in this offense. He played for Clint Kubiak when he was with New Orleans last season, so there's familiarity there. Clint Kubiak knows how to use this guy, and I'm sure that's why they made the call when they saw that New Orleans wasn't going to be competitive this season, to get this guy in the fold. Again, you don't know a lot of these guys. You don't feel good. People who don't know this guy are gonna be really positively surprised at the impact that he can make each and every game and each and every week, even when he's not getting the ball. The pressure that he puts on the defense, the awareness that you have to have of where he is on the field in case they take a shot with him. Because if you're not, by the time you're aware of him, he's running past you, the ball's up, and the way Sam Darnold has been delivering this season, it's going to be trouble. So this is one of my favorite trades of the deadline so far. The other huge notable trades is it looks like the New York Jets are in a full fire sale. Traded away 2 all-pro players. They got a lot of picks in it. I'm not sure I agree with these moves. I mean, usually the guys that are untouchable for a reason, and you don't trade franchise pillars. Now, Sauce Gardner, I think I understand why they traded him. I'm not a fan of using 2 first-rounders on a corner, and I'm a corner. I'm a former NFL corner. Felt like I played at a high level. There are very few corners that you can justify trading 2 first-round picks for. The Rams did it when they got Jalen Ramsey, and then they won a Super Bowl. So they can feel justified with that. The Colts are doing it, hoping for the same, hoping that he takes them to the next level, which he just may. But the production from a corner that you expect are interceptions. There are interceptions. If you're trading for a corner, that's a guy you expect to pick the ball off at least 3 to 4, maybe 4 to 5 times a season, change a game. Sauce is an elite corner. There's no question about that. But trading 2 first-round picks is really, really, that's generous. So I think that was a deal the Jets took because they could not refuse. They could not take that deal. You offered him, that's a deal they could not walk away from. And I understand that. Getting 2 first-round picks for a corner, I don't know many teams that would say no to that because of what you can do. Obviously, the Jets are trying to stock up draft picks to potentially get their next franchise quarterback. They haven't been great about picking franchise quarterbacks. Will it change this year? Who knows? But I can understand the logic in trading Sauce Gardner for 2 first-round picks. I can understand. I don't understand the logic from the Colts. I think he will help. I'm excited that they're giving Lou Anarumo the ammo that he needs to fuel this very talented and stingy defense that they have developing out there in Indianapolis. He was not allowed. He was not given these kind of big time playmakers in Cincinnati, and still was able to try to battle and try to make competitive teams. And um, I'm excited about what the Colts defense is going to be. I think this is a bit of an overpay, but I think that's the only reason that Sauce was available is because they went over and beyond. They gave him an offer that they could not refuse. I think Sauce will be great in this system. I think he'll be great for the Indianapolis Colts. I think he's an elite corner, and apparently this is the price you pay for an elite corner. It's only the second time since 1990 that a player has been traded for 2 first-round picks in season. Whew. Sauce has had 15 tackles this year, 6 PBUs, and no interceptions. Hopefully that changes with his time in Indy. Good luck to Sauce. I'm excited to see how that goes. They also traded receiver Adonai Mitchell as part of the deal to the Jets. I knew Adonai Mitchell was gonna be out of Indy when he dropped the ball over the goal line against the Rams. That was the bonehead play of the year. He also got a holding call in that game that negated a 50-yard Jonathan Taylor touchdown. You make those kind of mistakes in a season this special, because they could have easily won that game against the Rams. That would have been a big time quality win. They'd be 8-1 right now. That was something Shane Steichen felt like he couldn't live with, and they made the move that they felt was necessary. The Dallas Cowboys, Jerry called it. Jerry said, hey, we're going to make a big trade. Just wait before the game. I'm sure he didn't think that trade would be the best news they had because they got their butts kicked by the Arizona Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett. But they trade for Quinnen Williams, the all-pro player, the all-pro defensive tackle from the again, New York Jets. They use one of the picks they got in the Micah Parsons trade in a second-round pick and send over Mozzie Smith. Quinnen Williams is exactly what they need. They got Kenny Clark already. This is shaping. It looks like it's shaping out to be a very formidable defensive line. He has the second most run stuffs this season. He's done a great job against the run. He's a ferocious pass rusher. If there's a reason he's been all pro, even on bad defenses, bad teams with the Jets, because I think the Jets have had some good defenses. But he's been a standout player for them for a long time. But there's been some discontent. He's been disgruntled. You heard about it when they got rid of Aaron Rodgers and how that happened. We'll see how this one plays out, but you can tell there's some frustration between some of these players, some of the big time pillar players, and management, whether it's the head coach or the front office. And it's even more clear today. You're not expecting to win anytime in the near future, so you're stocking up picks. Maybe you can go. Maybe you believe a quarterback worth a lot of movement is going to be available in this draft, a quarterback of the future, but that hasn't been the case for a lot of these quarterbacks the Jets have picked up, and it's it's not by almost any fault of the players, because it doesn't seem like the Jets are equipped to develop young quarterbacks, and that's just what the history says. I'm not trying to be biased in any way, but that's what the history has said. Aaron Glenn is going to have his work cut out for him going forward. I look forward to seeing how this season. I mean, obviously, this season has already been what it's going to be. They got to win this season, which was surprising the way they started. But it looks like they're mailing it in and giving up on this season. Um, and likely they're going to have a high draft pick coming up, and they'll have other draft picks. And we'll see what they do with them, and if they can build a competitive roster and give Aaron Glenn more opportunities to coach these young men and establish culture, or what direction they go after this season. But these are some interesting moves. Not many times do you see multiple franchise players from the same franchise being moved on the trade deadline. But these are things they couldn't pass up. But if I'm the Jets front office and I got all these picks in the next couple of years, let's start just building a good team. You're going to be young now. You'll likely get your quarterback. I think you got a one good tackle. Could you get another? I think you got to go try to get a tackle. That's where you want to start. You've drafted pass rushers in the past, and it hasn't worked out great for him. You drafted an elite corner, you paid him, all that good stuff. You just traded him away. So now you're gonna need another corner. Quarterback, tackle, corner. You got a receiver. I think you feel great about. You can always use more. Adonai Mitchell should be fine for now. Offensive line. If there are quality offensive line there, that's where you go. Protect this young quarterback for the foreseeable future. If you're going to draft a quarterback with your first pick and you feel great about him and he's the future of your franchise, put some people in front of him that can block for him. You're probably going to need some D tackles now, but that's later on. Quarterback, protectors, corner. Those are your first three things you need to do. Some of them you can draft. Some of you can pick up in free agency. We'll see what you do. Good luck, Jets. And to Dallas fans, they're saying, hey, we traded Micah, and we got Kenny Clark, and we got Quinnen Williams, and we got another pick. That's cool. That's great. And it may work out fantastic. These are building blocks for a franchise. But right now, this has been a disaster of a season for the Dallas Cowboys. So hopefully these things in the future, and they're building winning habits, and they're getting guys in the building that can help reestablish culture for what they want to have. I think Jerry and Shahid, that's what they're trying to do. You want to build a great defense, you get great players, and these are great players. These are guys that can impact winning week in and week out. But you still got to get guys back there covering in the back end. They got to tighten up some of these coverage issues that they're having. They're playing man coverage, and guys are losing one-on-ones. But we'll see. We'll see. The Dallas Cowboys will be a talking point, no question about it. The San Francisco 49ers made their move a little earlier. They got Keon White. They signed Cleveland Farrell. Those are good moves. You know, I thought they would go again. I thought they would get another pass rusher. I'm sure the prices just were too high. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson did not move at all. So I'm sure the price was just above what they were willing to pay for a rental, which is odd about why the Philadelphia Eagles traded for Jalen Phillips, who's going to be a good pass rusher and fit this scheme. And everybody's like, the rich getting richer, but a third rounder for a guy that's on his contract year seems to be a steep price. But again, if you win the Super Bowl, then the price is worth it every single time. They needed more pass rush help. They've been beaten up. They needed some more depth, and they got that. I think that's a good move. And you got to trust Howie Roseman at this point. You got to trust him. He's got a great resume and a great track record. So I'm not gonna be the one to criticize him. But I just thought that was a decent compensation, and I think the Miami Dolphins, who are in a fire sale right now, are happy with it. I thought more players would be gone out of Miami. I thought they would deal more players. I thought it was 25 players in season. It's the most players traded in season, tied for the most players traded in season the past 25 years. The most first rounders dealt in season in the past 25 season, 3 of them. 2019 was the same. But it's a crazy trade deadline. I thought more teams would make moves, but we'll see. You can't make any more others. So I'm sure after this, you'll hear about guys asking for their release, et cetera, from some of these teams that aren't competitive right now, especially veteran players hoping to get picked up by a contender. That'll be the next step. No question about it. Now, for our Hard Rock TNF prediction. All odds and lines come from our partners at Hard Rock Bet. We've got the Raiders at the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Hard Rock Bet has the Broncos as 9-point favorites in this game. I think that's legitimate. The Raiders have struggled mightily this year. Unfortunately, my guy Geno Smith has struggled with turnovers and interceptions. He found his rhythm last week. He threw for 4 touchdowns last week because Brock Bowers is back. He's one of their big weapons. They traded Jacoby Myers, a guy who was unhappy. They traded him to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 4th and 6th round pick. So the cupboard's kind of bare. And I think going against this Broncos defense with Riley Moss and Talanoa Hufanga and Bonito and Cooper and Zach Allen, it's a tough defense to not have a ton of weapons against. And I think with that kind of pass rush, this is going to be a long day for the Raiders. They're 1-8. Unfortunately, I feel bad for my guy Pete, but I feel like the Broncos are going to be able to cover, but who knows? Appreciate you guys joining me here on the Richard Sherman podcast. I know you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I surely do appreciate it. Hit that sub button if you're new.